Earlier this week, Ben Simmons returned to the city of Philadelphia and the 76ers, unbeknownst to many in the organization. Mans took a private flight from California, pulled up to the Canton practice facility and/or the Wells Fargo Center, no one really knows, in the middle of a preseason game and asked to be let in without telling anyone he was coming. As you would imagine, this caused quite a bit of uproar as the Sixers' emotional point forward broke his holdout after rumors made it clear that he was done with the team for good, going as far as to saying he would sit out a whole season and be docked money if need be. And somehow he is back. This caused quite a stir all around the country, from TV to radio to social media. Everyone asked themselves the question of if this was the best path moving forward for the organization and Simmons. In a perfect world, no, but I mean, what did people expect? There was no trade out there that the Sixers were going to take. These executives, their legacies is on the line. They do not want to be the dummy giving away Ben Simmons for pennies on the dollar. It was never going to happen. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is neither here nor there. Make no mistake about it, Ben Simmons will receive boos from fans the moment he steps on the Wells Fargo Center court, and I'm here to condone it. Y'all know me. If you have been following this channel for a minute, like you know Bulls was a former Ben defender, myself, giving mans every excuse in the book, but dirt is dirt. For everything Ben Simmons has done this offseason, he deserves everything that is going to come to him this season. Imagine if you were Ben for a second and understand the situation that you put yourself in. One, not only did you turn a majority of the city against you, especially your fans, due to your actions, but now you have your teammates side-eyeing you for not allowing them to come fly and see you during the summer to patch things up. Furthermore, you potentially have the rest of the league, player union, association, probably talking mess about you because you try to pull some slick stuff and get out of your contract 1 year into the deal, where it's obvious that NBA owners are going to try and restrict player power and movement in the next CBA. More than likely, your reputation as a professional took a hit, and you also lost out on about $1 million just to come back. All of this drama to avoid coming back to Philly and not feel the heat to cave in and ultimately come back to Philly with more intense vitriolic pressure on you. You sick as shit. People can blame Rich Paul and Clutch Sports all they want, and they kind of should take some blame because they tried to finesse the city but miserably failed. But honestly, it's on Ben, no excuse. He asked for all of this to begin with, and now he has to reap what he sowed. The fact that he really thought he could get away with all of this is just the funniest part to me. Like, you have to really peep the arrogance of Bull, saying I'm not coming back, legit ruining a championship talented roster 1 year into a 5-year deal at 25 years old. Seriously, that is wild. Thank God for Maury Brand and company for sticking to their guns and didn't punk themselves into making a disastrous trade, because the Sixers were going to be done, in my opinion. Now, my preference would be to boo the living hell out of Ben during his introduction and substitution phases, because let's just be logical here. It is the best of both worlds and will affect his game on the court the least. I am not suggesting that we boo him while on court, because that does absolutely nothing for the team overall. That negative energy will transcend each and every player when we boo him, when he's passing the ball, dunking the ball, shooting the ball, something we do not want. We are Sixer fans. We want them to do better. Our beef is with Simmons. Not with Joel, not with Tobias, not with Danny, not with anyone else. Our beef is with Simmons. It is not even really some beef. It's just making him understand the mistake he made and letting him hear it. He has to, for the way he tried to abruptly leave town, giving the city who supported him through thick and thin, without a jump shot, and at least, the very least, a competent free throw shot, the middle finger. Y'all already know the camp that I fall under, Dame or bust. And now, to a lesser extent, Bill too, but honestly, it's still Dame or bust. For all the headaches Benny 1 Point brings to us with his refusal to develop or evolve his offensive game, if you watch the team overall, we are better with him than without him. If you're going to trade him and stay, or at least hope to become a true championship contender, you're going to need to recoup a player whose offensive production makes up for Ben's overall impact. And there's only a slim amount of players, only a few amount of players with that skill set that can actually bring that to the Sixers. It is what it is. At the end of the day, that's a business decision. That is a logical business decision. Now, I'm not just here to come at Ben, because both sides have made mistakes here. The Sixers aren't clear of any wrongdoing in the slightest. The organization is clearly dysfunctional and honestly always has been. But if you are still defending Simmons at this point, at least to a grand extent, obviously we can all understand where the Bull is coming from a human aspect. Like, I'm not saying, that's wrong, or he can't have some of those, negative thoughts because we're all human at the end of the day. But if you are really sticking with Simmons at this point, in my opinion, you are less of a Sixers fan and more of a Ben groupie, which isn't a bad thing, like to each their own, but let's call it the way it is. Ben tried to punk the city and we called his bluff. Why am I mad? Like, I'm mad at him because he broke the sacred vow. Once he came out and said that he cannot work with Joel Embiid, I was done. Because that is the core crux of the process, being a process fan. Telling everyone that the Ben and Joel, that the Ben and Joe show can work, has worked, will work. Not off of some, fantasy, but off of number stats, the actual eye test. These young boys have won so many games together without even really understanding the game or even with their clunky fit. So many games the last 5 years. Obviously not the second round, right? But things don't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. But for him to, give those haters the fodder to actually say, yeah, like now Ben's saying it. That's what we were defending. We were defending the fact that everyone said we couldn't do it. And you said, screw all of that. Simply because you won't develop a free throw. Nah, dog. Can this all be resolved? Who knows? I'm saying yes simply off of the fact that this team is too talented and relatively young for it to end like this. Having actual championship aspirations. Of course, we aren't the royalty of the NBA, obviously. But you cannot tell me, based off of history, recent history, of what our team has done with so much change that we cannot get there soon if we are able just to work and get through our issues. In the grand scheme of things, Ben Simmons will more than likely not be a 76er long-term, as the organization is probably no longer committed to him kissing his butt the way that they were up until this summer, especially during the Brian Colangelo regime. But if Ben wants out that badly, he is going to have to be a team player, help get his stock up, allowing the team to win in the process in hopes of us getting a better player in return for him. A help me, help you, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine type deal. So even though I am annoyed, disgusted, and honestly just sad about what Ben has done, I'ma still be a Simmons supporter, a Benny 1 Point supporter until he is no longer on the team. That is the best course of action we have moving forward. Let bygones be bygones. Forgive, but don't forget. Either way, take this Simmons saga as a lesson, folks. Life is not fair, and no matter how hard you try to run away from your problems, you will eventually have to face them, whether you like it or not. If you are smart about the situation, you will not exacerbate the problem to the point that you give yourself more hassle. Welcome back to Philly, Benny 1 Point.